Guys, if you didn't already know, Manscaped now sells beard products. You heard that correctly. Now they're going a step further with their brand new Handyman, an electric face shaver for achieving a clean-shaven look with ease. Whether you're looking to sharpen up your neckline or give your face that smooth finish, the Handyman has got you covered. Right now, you can use the promo code Chael to get 20% off plus free shipping. The Handyman is the perfect combat tool that I can take with me to get that clean-shaven look on the go. Pair it with the Beard Hedger to secure the complete beard care package. This cordless trimmer is a high-tech piece of art in a travel-sized package with a long-lasting battery, universal charging, and a strong motor. Say goodbye to all your stubble trouble. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Chael at manscaped.com or just click on the link below. The return of Conor McGregor. Who will his opponent be? Which seems quite obvious. It's going to be Michael Chandler. I've never seen any flinching on that. I've never seen the promotion start to hint, just by example, get behind any idea, even ever so slight, of anybody aside from Chandler. But Conor has a very massive voice. And Conor has called out people other than Chandler. Now, if you follow Conor McGregor, that isn't new. That is par for the course. That is what he does. And that's not going to stop. But if you're at all new, or you didn't follow close enough, or you have a really short-term memory, throw very real things that a fan deals with, right? Fans got all sorts of other things to do. You could get lost in this. So Dana came out. It was post-fight press conference at a Dana White Contender Series. This question was asked. He cleared up. And he kind of said what I just said, kind of. Hey, Conor goes in lots of different directions, but when he returns to the UFC, it'll be Michael Chandler and nobody else. All right. Now, I only bring that to you because it's a tough spot of when could that be? I mean, do we have like a time frame? And it doesn't have to be like the cable guy. Like, it doesn't have to be between 10 and noon. It could be months. It could be the fall, the spring, which like encompass, 4 months. Next summer must take place before he's 45, like anything at all. And I say that because my greater concern is Michael Chandler. What do you do if you're in Chandler's position? You have earned this. Not just because of your record or what you've done. I mean, there was a process. In this case, it was the Ultimate Fighter, right? But think about that. Think about that and don't lose sight. Like, if a guy goes through the Ultimate Fighter and he wins the Ultimate Fighter, he gets a very beautiful trophy. The history books will reflect it. He gets a contract. He found his way in, right? He broke through. That's what he did. And the same thing goes for the coaches. If they went and did the Ultimate Fighter, there's an agreement. You get through it. And so when I say that Michael Chandler earned this, I want you to know where I'm coming from, and he did. And he's exercised incredible patience. And if you see Chandler, whether he pops up, he's at an event and they pan the camera to him, which I think they did a couple weeks ago, or you follow his social media, active pictures, he looks great. You don't just look the way Chandler looks. He's working very, very hard. And to work that hard takes such an incredible discipline when there's no finish line in sight. So Chandler has done this for a meaningful amount of time, staying ready so he doesn't have to get ready. And I get that these are things that you say, but it takes a lot. And he deserves, he has earned. Those aren't words that I will generally use, right? Life isn't fair. I understand those types of things. This is a situation where Michael Chandler has earned something. He agreed. He did his part. And now he needs to follow through from the other side. And I just say that because I can only imagine, right? I talk to Chandler, but I don't ask him that. I don't ask him that because I feel like it would be rude. I mean, this is a very personal thing. He has a family. He's off to work. He's counting and relying on something. And other people are counting and relying on him. And you're only as good as the information that you have. So imagine that. He's at the dinner table. Just imagine. He's at the dinner table and his wife asks a question. And he answers the question for everybody to hear. And then a month later, she says, hey, by the way, you told me this, but this didn't happen. I said, yes, I told you that, but then because I was told, I thought this was accurate. Just imagine that, right? Something along these lines. And it gets to be a tough spot. You have coaches and you have trainers, and they are participants. Okay, great. When about do we think the match will be? I imagine if Chandler was asked that question the first time he was asked, he'd have probably told them summer. When that fight got announced, it kind of looked like it was going to be summer, International Fight Week specifically. And now it's a question of, can he even say winter? Can he? Right? Is he sitting on information that we don't have? It just gets to be this tough spot that is not fair. I don't like to use words like that. I know things aren't fair, but I'm suggesting for you, what do? And how long can you do it for? And can we have a ballpark? At some point, I would have to imagine it turns to an ultimatum, right? It's the weakest part of a negotiation. I mean, it's the part where you've ran out of ideas. Like when two sides take to fighting, it's because they've ran out of ideas. It's not an honorable thing to do. But the ultimatum isn't either. It's overly effective. I've seen it in relationships. It's the opposite of romantic. However, it is effective. Marry me or never see me again, right? It's like, that's not a fair romantic story, but it is effective. Dude says yes more times than not, at least in old Chael's experience. So I'm saying for you, at some point that has to come up. Because at some point, Chandler, who's working very hard, he's doing his job, is going to need to compete. He's going to want to compete. He's going to want to get on with it. So I think it was really helpful that Dana came out, made it clear. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know what the rules and this USADA and the whole back and forth. We do know when he comes back, it's going to be Michael Chandler. I think that that's really helpful. But while that is news for us, while that come in here and drive that home is news for us, that's not news for them. Like, that's not new to Conor and Chandler. There's no part about Conor's return that is being delayed because of who the opponent is. He's known who the opponent is. There's something else. Maybe we've identified it. Maybe it's USADA and he's got something in his system. Maybe. But maybe we haven't. There could be more at play. And what time frame? Is there any time frame? Is there a date that if it doesn't happen by here? And then how would you finish that statement? If it doesn't happen by here, we're going to get Michael Chandler a new opponent. Well, the very next day, then Conor comes back and says, I'll fight somebody else. And Chandler's tied up. He's doing another opponent. I mean, can you do that? Like, what would the ultimatum even look like? How would it sound? It's a very tough situation. And in this sport, we greatly rely on the other guy's word, no matter how much he's our rival. I don't like to use the word hate. I'm going to use it because it's one that you guys understand. Even if you hate the guy and he hates you, you still are counting on his word. He's going to do what he said he's going to do. That's how we're going to get this hate and this frustration out. We're going to solve it this way. It's an interesting spot. What is Chandler supposed to do? Chandler's done everything that he said that he would do. And it isn't as though Conor went back on something. Conor never really said it. He said, I'll fight Chandler. He even said, I'll fight Chandler next. He hasn't agreed to fight anybody else, and he hasn't fought anybody else next. We didn't quite have this as tight as we thought. And even on a simple human level, which is the opposite of fighting, they're rough and tough and screw you back. On a certain human level, I do wish that Conor would see it from the other side, which is, hey, I need to know to a degree if this is going to happen and if so, when. And frankly, even though that would be Chandler's standpoint, frankly, as a viewer and a fan, I'd like that information too.